The motorcycle I'm talking about is the Spiro Ekon 450 M version 2. The first one doesn't have this flaw, so I don't know why the changes were made, but anyway, I was riding through town the other day, and I turn around and look and see a boda guy had modified his, and this is like the third I'm seeing. And I had a colleague of mine complaining, and I'm like, seriously, there is a problem here, and people have to know this such that it can help you decide on what to do after you've learned what I'm going to share with you. Now, this place has changed. Goodness me. I don't know by the time I come back how this will look like, but anyway. First things first, before I move into the video, there are certain things I have to clear right now, because after having a forth and back with a view of mine, there is something I needed to clear the air about. It was like, you're just a paid shield for Spiro saying good things and they are paying you. And I wanted to put it categorically clear. I am not paid by Spiro in any way. The reason why I have most of my content majorly is about the Spiro motorcycles is because they are the only company that has allowed me to go by and shoot. It is as simple as that. The others, have even been to them in events. You talk to somebody, you tell them, please, can I come by and shoot some content? You know, people need to know these things are available, and you cannot sell if people do not know the products that you have. They even give you a person whom you should communicate to. After the event, you're sending messages, hi, can I come over and shoot something as we planned? And what meets you is silence and cricket sounds, and there's nothing you can do about it. Spiro, and the times I've got in touch with them saying, hey, you guys have a new bike, can I come over and shoot? They're like, come. Now, I honestly don't know why they made this change. I think the engineers, after some time of looking at stuff, they say, if they ain't broken, let's fix it anyway. So they did the changes, modified it, and now we are paying the price. If you look at this one, you can see where the rider stands, like place the footrest where they put their leg as they ride. And then you can look at where the passenger sits. Believe me, it is so high up that, I mean, there are those who don't mind, you know, lifting up legs while they are riding motorcycles. It depends on the person. Like most cases, you know, like girls, if you have seen those big motorcycles by the road where a guy goes and is hanging on the handles, like probably dying a second death, like the way Jesus died or something like that. And sometimes you ask yourself, do these guys ever reach home and the hands are, do they ever go to a doctor and the doctor says, please cut down on your riding, because yeah, you might one day wake up at night and your hands are like this in the air. Well, back to the topic. You can imagine it is just inconveniencing. Maybe they were designed to be, you know, like riding motorcycles and your legs are up. Believe me, it is inconveniencing. And if you people at Spiro listen to this and even care to do, I think the other version that comes after this should be, you can go back to the old previous way because it's more comfortable. We have sat on them and you can notice the difference instead of you having a journey where your legs are up in the air like this and very inconveniencing. So what the flow is, because it's so high, I've seen a number of boda men have done modifications where they go and weld a metal bar just behind near the tire, such that you as the passenger can now have a lower place where you can place your leg. But it's also not so comfortable because now your legs are turned behind like this, and you, I was about to say an ostrich angle, but ostriches don't have those angles like that. So I don't know what angle. Which clumsy bird can I give you an example of? You get the idea. I know you people are smart, so yeah, that's why you subscribe to channels like this, because there is smart content. If you haven't yet subscribed, what are you waiting for? Please subscribe. I know these days everybody is saying, you know, subscribers don't matter. Even Google is telling you subscribers don't matter. But remember, the play button only comes at the number of subscribers, not the number of views or the watch hours. Can you imagine? Yeah, so let's support each other. If you like content like this, please subscribe. You can share with a friend who is planning to buy motorcycles. They are good motorcycles, by the way. So my tiny flaw with this motorcycle is simply the footrest. It has all that good thing that Spiro has, you know, the batteries. I know I've had people complaining about batteries and stuff like that. If they allow me, I will go and ask them about the battery thing and the home chargers. But this is simply a footrest problem for passengers. I know they might have designed something different for these motorcycles, but you know, most of you know that in Africa sometimes things are designed one way and they end up another way. For example, let me give you a quick example. You know that pin on an ATM, like you go to the village, personal identification number or code, and at the end of the day you realize every son and the daughter knows the pin, and the three other mobile money lenders who actually go and withdraw the money before you do at the end of the month. Yeah, salary loans, that sort of thing. So these, whatever they were designed for, in our country they are majorly for border, and that placement of the footrest is in the wrong place. As simple as that. So if whatever Spiro decides to do, that is to them. You can still do what other border men do, and the little bird, they well, we are resourceful. Africans bring something and there is a problem, they'll find ways to work around it. So the motorcycle is fine, works like the Spiro motorcycles you have known them to do. The way they behave is what it still delivers. Just the footrest, only that.